of the underground. Make madness your ritual.
Hey, Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 159. And you do me a favor, check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com. On the right side, you'll be able to connect with us on a plethora of links. iTunes and Stitcher, both podcast applications. One is for iTunes, obviously, and the other is for both. Stitcher is for both. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all that other bullshit. I'm way behind on all my videos, so you just be patient, folks, and we'll get you caught up shortly. Do me a favor and download the Listen to My Radio app, LISTEN, the number 2, My Radio, and search Ritual Madness Podcast. Bookmark it. Every time you want to check out our station, you'll be able to do so. And when we have live podcast as well, you can connect with us and hang out and chit-chat and bullshit with us. You know, it'll be a good time. If you shop Amazon, do me a favor and click that Amazon link. Bookmark it as your own. Every time you buy something off of Amazon, it kicks it back a couple pennies back to us to keep things going. Right below there's a little donation link. Please click the donation link and donate some stuff if you would, please. That'd be great. Keep this place going. Keep everything rocking. And so on and so forth. Let me see, we got some stuff. Do me a favor, check out dotwpod.com. There's a couple fellas that I call brothers in broadcasting here. Nate and Gene over there at DOTW Pod. Very cool podcast supporting indie music and all kinds of good stuff. They get into great conversations on that podcast. It's super fun. Also, check out KFAI's Fresh Air Radio's Root of All Evil show. On Sunday mornings, I guess it would be Saturday evening, 1 a.m. So it'd be Sunday technically, but you know what I'm saying. Check out Ritual or the Root of All Evil. See, 5 years, I'm still not any good at this. Do me a favor, Monthly Madness at Lee's Liquor Lounge. We do a show once a month at Lee's Liquor Lounge. This month, it's going to be June 30th, 8 p.m. Start, $7 cover, 21 plus. $2 Jack and Cokes, $3 PBR Tall Boys. It is Cymothwa's CD release party. That is Hate Beast, Kunanoon, Cymothwa, Deep Haven, and Zenith Waves. Sponsored by Zero Budget Records, Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective. There'll also be $300 in tattoo gift cards as well. Metal Soda and a couple other folks here. We're going to be rocking out on the 30th of June. Come check us out. Also, the Midsummer Nightmare at Club Underground on July 14th and 15th. That's going to be a really good show. Again, that's at the Club Underground. Cold Colors, Beast Face, Outside the Murder, Krog, Koboloi, the Omega Sequence, Ghost Hook, Echoes of the Fallen, Cymothwa again, Blood War, Discunt, and Hex Vortices. Come check that out as well. And like I said, thank you for tuning in, hanging out with us tonight. Episode 159. We're doing some drone talk here tonight. I'm super excited about this. If you guys have listened to this podcast at all, you know, like right around November of last year, I picked up a Phantom, a DJI Phantom, Phantom 3 Standard, and I kind of fell in love with it. Yeah, it's weak. Yeah. Well, actually, the first one that I got was a Hubsan Desire, and I crashed it and busted a bunch of shit, and you know, Kyle knows what it's all about. So we've got Kyle and Josh with us tonight. Kyle, what's the name of your company that you do? It's Superior Aerial Solutions. Okay. And now you started a new company as well, or you're starting to get one off the ground? Yeah, you're trying to get everything.
Both of us together. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
QuadstyleRC.
Nice. Yep. Very cool. So I mean, I met Kyle through crashing my drone and contacting some guy online, and he was like, call this guy, he'll help you out. I got a hold of Kyle, and Kyle was super cool and took care of me. I brought my drone down to 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, probably.
And we started
$1,000 later.
Yeah, right. Well, it wasn't
Not quite that bad.
He took care of me. You know, he took care of me right away, and we hit it off real good. And you know, it's funny because we started communicating, and like, you know, I'd say, hey, do you got these parts? And, you know, hey, do you got this? And he's like, you know, don't tell me you fucking crashed that thing again. You know what I mean? So it's been super amazing for me. I'm fully into this hobby. I really, really dig it. And Kyle donated a bunch of parts, and we kind of are working things out, putting a racer together as well. I was blown away because when I went to your house, those were the first two I saw up in the corner. I was like, how fast do they go? What do they do? You know? And you're like, they crash. You crash them fuckers fast.
You do. And it's amazing how everything just seems to break
Yeah.
right away too.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
can be real pain.
Before
Yeah.
you even fly it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely, man. So, yeah, I started getting into this hobby, and it's been just insane addictive. And just I bought fucking a ton of drones so
Yeah,
far.
it's addictive.
Crashed a bunch. That Hubson that I bought right away, I took it right out here. I watched a ton of YouTube videos on it.
Yeah.
And didn't get my signals up before I took off. I was just excited to get it in the air. And I got this cheap case from work and fucking cut out all this shit for it. Took me like an hour to cut the case out. And then I took it outside, and it took me about 15 minutes to lose that fucker up over the buildings next
That's
door.
funny.
Yeah, it was gone. It just took off on me,
That's pretty much what happened to me. This past Christmas, it hasn't even been that long since I've been doing it, but it's like it just grabbed me by the balls, and I'm in it. But she bought me a Cyma X8W, and I thought it was the coolest thing because it's like the same size as the Phantom, and it would fly, it would do a little flip. You push the button. I'm like, hell yeah, it's got a little camera on it, and I was flying that thing for like a month, and I had a battery charged, and I had learned, don't keep your lipos charged for long. You're going to fuck them up, And so I'm like, I'm going to burn this pack down quick.
Yeah.
And it was dark out, and I could see the lights, and I brought her up and brought it back kind of down, and then it's like it was real windy, and it pulled it up, and then I lost signal to my radio. And I just watched this thing fucking fly away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I spent like a month looking for this thing. Oh, it's horrible.
And you never found it?
No, never found it. I think it's in a herd of very tall pine trees.
Yeah.
And it's black. I'll never find it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I haven't lost one yet.
Really?
Not
you better
yet.
knock on wood,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
I will, I'm sure, eventually.
Hell yeah. So, we kind of hooked up and have been flying together quite a bit, and and you've helped me out figure things out with the drone and getting everything. Now, how long have you guys? I'm sorry. Let's introduce you first. Kyle, give him the voice first. Yeah, you're
Hey,
Kyle.
what's up?
Okay, you're Josh. Make sure they know who you are with the voice.
It's happening.
So, how long have you guys been doing this stuff? Like, what was the time frame? Like, how long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
I mean, drones-wise, probably 4 to 5 years, basically, since they kind of came out.
Sure.
And I was doing RC airplanes before that, and then it kind of just were like, oh, let's try and build. We saw a video of somebody make a DIY out of wood, because this was before really quads were even a thing.
Right.
And so then we built one, flew it and crashed it right away, and then from then on we were hooked and just started getting different motors and this and that, and then the Phantoms came out, and then I got that, and same thing, you just get the bug and start getting all sorts of different stuff. And you obviously saw it. Well, both of you have seen my hobby room, and
Oh, yeah.
it's
Love
a lot
that
of
room.
stuff in there.
Yeah,
so
I don't want to leave.
My jaw dropped when I walked into his house, and I was going, whoa, just all over the place, man.
I was shocked. I just lived a couple houses away, and
Right.
I had met him. I had my Fat Sharks on, and there's this little kind of field where they had ripped a house out of, and I was gonna fly, and this dude stops in this truck I've seen parked a million times, and didn't know the guy, and he's like, "Hey, what you doing?" And I walk over, and I see he's got the DJI case, and so we wrap out, and then we get to hanging out. And when I finally went into his house, saw his shop, his hobby room there, I was like, yeah, this is what I fucking need right here.
right.
Like, I need to pimp my
That's
shit
sweet.
out.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do repairs too, so that I got a lot of extra parts and stuff like that, and that's kind of a side deal that I do, is doing the repairs.
Sure.
And I don't know, could be busier, but it's a good side job.
Sure. Well, so what do you guys do for work, outside of the hobby? What
I'm
do
a
you guys-
carpenter.
Oh,
Have
nice.
my own construction company, remodeling, general contracting, pretty
Sure.
much, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. jack
Tile
of all
work
tra-
right
yeah.
now. I'm just getting my butt kicked with this tile, but
It looks great,
it
though,
looks
dude.
Awesome.
You've been sending pictures to me, and I'm like, holy fuck, man. You got
It's
it's
nice.
a beast.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really,
so-
really cool.
Looks good. I work for a corporate company, but
Sure.
I work for Centerpoint. I'm a natural gas guy.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I do emergency response, anything big, small, emergency hits, like big companies.
Sure.
I think last year they shut down one of the major freeways, and my crew wasn't involved in that, but that's like what we would do.
Sure.
We'd show up,
Yep.
fix it, try to protect
Nice.
people.
Right.
Sweet.
That's awesome,
Yeah,
man. So, I mean, it sounds like you guys are able to fund this expensive hobby. And,
My wife would tell you differently.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I think everybody's wife would tell you differently.
Yeah.
So I did an interview on Channel 4 News with Brandon, one of Kyle's buddies. Well, he works at one of the local hobby shops, and he's the drone guy there. Very very cool cat. And I've flown with him and Kyle a few times. And Brandon asked me to come over and do an interview on Channel 4, and I was super nervous. And you said, "Hey, be careful because they could be looking for a story. There could be some people trying to set you up to to fuck with the hobby, man. So we were kind of on our toes right away, but it was my wife saw the thing, and I exaggerated. I said I had 5, and I've only got 3 that
I heard that
I fly.
I was like, you're busted.
Yeah, and she fucking snapped. She's like, "You got 5 drones?" Like,
I keep them at work.
Dude, she straight snapped.
I bet. I bet.
And I just sold one to get my torrent. You know what I mean? So,
which is badass.
Yeah.
Where are you keeping this thing?
Exactly, dude.
Yeah. Where are these at? Where are these at?
We were talking that one time when you said your lady went in and started counting or something.
Yep.
She didn't know exactly.
Yeah,
you had so many different
count.
parts and pieces everywhere.
She was counting them.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's like, "Do you know how many you have?" I'm like, "I'm not sure." She's like, 14.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Are you sure
That
that's
you
all
know
of them?" Yeah. Are you sure?
Wow.
Yeah, so
funny.
hopefully our ladies don't listen to this shit because
Yeah, no, I don't want to say some
Right.
things
Exactly.
here, and then I got to answer for this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, you guys seem like you're head deep in the fucking hobby and doing
Oh,
things. Now, what was your first bird? What was the first one that you guys flew on?
Well, mine was that Sima XAW, and my brother had just gotten a just out of nowhere. His girlfriend did the same thing, but she bought him a Phantom Standard 3 for Christmas.
Yeah.
So we
Weak.
both
Oh,
got.
sorry.
I know.
Yeah.
But
No,
we
they're
both-
actually for
pretty slick.
$400 or whatever they are. They're amazing.
Oh yeah,
You know?
totally. But yeah, so we both had those at the same time, and I was actually going to gut the Sima because I had watched some YouTube videos about guys putting brushless motors, different flight controllers, and I'm like, oh yeah, like this sounds cool to me. And I talked to some guys, and they're like, why would you waste that money? Why don't you just go buy a drone for what it's going to cost you to do? And I'm like, well, what the fuck is that supposed to mean,
right,
you know? And
right.
I started getting more into it, watching all kinds of YouTube videos, and I mean, literally, it was like drones 24/7 after that. And,
Oh, yeah, you get hooked.
Yeah, I was hooked, and that's why I got into like the high performance stuff. And I had bought a little Hubsan X 107, I don't know, a little tiny guy, just a little Hubsan, and that thing was sweet. I'd just fly around my house, and it was still cold out and shit. So, yeah, that was my first and my second. Now I've got 2 Chameleons and a D-Quad and a Martian 2, which is a clone of the Alien, which I don't promote people to go out and buy at all.
What, clones?
Yeah, the clones for 1, and then 2, the Martian 2.
I've heard bad things, reviews on it.
Yeah, the way the carbon's designed, you're constantly cracking top plates because of the battery mounting, and if the bolts come loose at all, it also helps
I've heard
crack
it
it.
shifts a lot on either side.
It does, yeah. It's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's a trainer, high performance trainer is what I would say it is. But yeah, I think people need to be getting their cut. They're coming up with the designs in this industry. Now that I'm spending more time in it, I'm realizing, that $25 frame to me at the time was an awesome buy. But now I think, oh shit, I've bought 3 of them now, which is
There's a reason why they
Yeah.
don't make them to
Exactly.
withstand as well.
exactly, yeah. For the price I paid for the 3, I pretty much had enough to buy a Chameleon after that. So it's like if I would have just not went that route, but you don't always know that getting in. Those some of the
Exactly.
shit you don't know,
And
when
you don't know if you're going to be into it either.
Yeah,
Sometimes, so you
yeah.
don't want to spend $500 or $600 right on the first one and then crash it and be done.
exactly.
You know. So, but yeah, I mean, I would, I guess, recommend buying a little better quality one too. Than
At least the
going
frame.
cheap. Yeah.
Yeah,
frame,
at least the frame. I
motors,
think internal
whatever, but-
components, you can fiddle with. You can try some cheaper transmitters and whatever and this that, but you definitely just buy a nice frame off the bat.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for sure. That's probably the way to go, man. You know, I was always curious about that frame because I looked at that frame a whole bunch,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah. And then I started seeing reviews about it, and that it just had problems.
Yeah.
Like not very well made, not, you know.
Well, all you see is like all the professional pilots, you know, basically the guys that are notoriety from doing this, they're all flying aliens and stuff. And so you're like, yeah, alien. Then you look at the price of it and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, 120
130, it's basically ends up being like $130 or something like that after shipping. And
just for the frame. That's
yeah,
it.
yep, just the frame.
But
Yeah.
it's strong. I mean,
It is, it's
and
strong.
they stand by them usually.
Right.
Those companies stand by their frames. So if something happens, you know, they'll warranty it or replace it or get you parts.
Armington, the Chameleon, it's relatively new, but that is the first like genuinely 100% warranted frame out there. You break that thing, it doesn't matter if you found it in your friend's grandma's fucking attic and it was 2 years old and it had a broken arm. You just send that shit in.
Nice.
That's
Very
awesome.
Send it back. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the low profile look on that frame. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it is. They designed it to be for inertia,
Right.
Like to bring down that center of gravity, so it's better for the freestyle with your inertia. Yeah, that's what we're gonna carry. We're gonna carry the Chameleon, just a 5-inch. I think some people like 6-inch, but I think the 6-inch props are getting harder to find. So just gonna stay away from that.
Sure.
And then so 5-inch Chameleon, and then 5-inch D-Quad Obsession.
Yep.
They all have I call them hybrid frames because they integrate the aluminum,
Yeah.
which
And they
is
look
just
sweet.
super durable.
Right.
Yeah, and they look sweet.
They
Yeah,
look
they're
really
sexy,
cool.
man.
Yeah, they're
Fucking
really
super
cool.
sexy.
Yeah.
They have different lines than just the straight X quads, you know what I mean, with the long frames on them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're different, you know, the ZMR or whatever.
Right.
You know, that alien style or...
Yeah, that QAV, KZMR, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. So you've been repairing and building and doing stuff for quite a long time. Now, you do a lot of your own building stuff now. That's what you're fully into that stuff.
Yeah, I'm just totally, I mean, like, I wouldn't even say I'm that good of a pilot.
Sure.
Really. I mean, I'm crashing still just about every pack, but
I've seen them crash on a roof.
we're not going to talk about whose roof it was. I might get a ticket for that one.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we're flying. He's got a monitor hooked up to my feed. And I'm ripping around. I'm doing pretty good. I got the new Tyrannus special edition with the Hall gimbals, Hall sensor gimbals, and these things are just dialed in. And I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling it. And he's like, oh, that'd be sweet if you power loop that Skywalk. And I'm like, where is it? And I see it. I went and ripped that thing, and I don't know what I was doing. Next thing I know, I'm on the roof and just laying there. So took a couple days in a ladder and some sprinklers to get it done.
But we got her.
Yeah.
Right. That's awesome. At least you were able to get it back. You know?
I know. Yeah.
I know the situation and how sketchy it was.
It's like
know?
the second flight after repairs and getting it dialed in.
Same day, earlier that day, I had actually some of the programming in my ESCs had goofed up for some reason. It turned one of the motors the wrong direction. I was holding it. I was going to hand launch it.
Yeah.
And it spun as it would, like, you know, I call it the frickin' gator roll, you know, and it diced my finger open. Yeah, I probably could have got like 5-6 stitches, but
Dang.
I just glued that sucker shut for a couple of weeks. And
Right.
it was nasty.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bad day.
Well, that's pretty much what they made that super glue for
yeah.
anyways, didn't they?
Exactly.
So yeah,
Put on the edge of your carbon and cover your cuts.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely, man. Well, fucking A, that's good. I think we got a good start. We should take a listen to some tunes. I've got a bunch of different questions that I want to ask you guys, and just kind of give people an idea of what, you know, where they should start maybe, and how they should start getting into things. I know that it's such a weird question, you know, when you want to get into this thing. I had really no one to ask those to.
Yeah.
And I, you know, like even asking, I know a shitload of people on Facebook. I know a shitload of people in real life too, but just being able to get on social media and start asking people about it, and going on YouTube and asking people about it, or, you know, just seeing trial and error of what everybody else has done. But it's so difficult to really pinpoint that I've seen so far. Like, you know, the freestyle guys say, if you want to get into it, start getting the high performance stuff.
Right. They're not really sharing their PIDs and all that.
Yeah. And I mean, even just to begin with, you know what I mean? Like, I had no idea. I just saw a friend of mine flying his Hubsan on Facebook, and I was like, dude, you know, what did you buy? What is that? You know? And then he told me, and I went and started looking at that, and he told me this Hubsan would probably be pretty good for you. It's not a great camera, but getting the idea of how to fly it with GPS and
What
you
the
know,
sticks feel
yeah,
like,
yeah,
and yep.
you know, and so we'll listen to some tunes and we'll come back and we'll kind of chit chat about that stuff.
Sweet.
We got a lot
Looking
of stuff.
forward to it.
We've got some Outcast coming up. Some Get Up, Get Out, and Get Something. A little Mastodon, some Rage Against the Machine, and a little Tupac. So stick around, folks, and we'll be back. Hey, thanks for sticking around. You're listening to Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 159, hanging out with the fellas, talking about some drone stuff. I wanted to say that, we were kind of talking off the air about how important it is. I mean, other than Kyle's been into it a lot longer than Josh and I, but we were talking about being new to this hobby and how important it is to get the information correct and get the right information for you to start flying, and what LOS is and what FPV is, and and what GPS is, and what style of drone you want to start flying with. I think that's really important. And we were talking about YouTube videos and these professional drone pilots out there flying and doing crazy stuff because they can. They're experienced. They've been flying a long time. They're able to control these drones. And a lot of people think that, they buy this little Hubsan X4 or whatever it is, or just an Inductrix for that matter, or a Tiny Whoop or something, and you're flying in the house or you're flying it around your cats and dogs, and then you get into a high performance drone or a Phantom or something, with a camera on it, and you want to go really high and you want to do all this cool shit. But a lot of people, I think, miss the fact that these things are dangerous. These things can hurt you. You go from brushed motors to where you could stick your finger right in there and you might get a little nick, but the motor's going to stop. When you get brushless motors, they're not really going to stop that. They've got that much more resistance to them, and they're going to cut you. I mean, you were just talking about getting cut with you.
I gashed open.
Yeah,
I did.
What about your leg?
Yesterday, teaching my brother how to just try and hover with a high performance drone, and he doesn't realize how micro movements it takes. And he flew that thing right into my leg. I got three gashes again in 1 week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
super dangerous, folks. If you're listening into this podcast, I mean, really, what the gist of it is I'm super new at it as well, and I'm learning as I'm going. But I'm benefiting from as many people that I'm meeting that are flying and getting to see them fly and getting to see their habits. And I'm able to ask them questions directly and get to see it firsthand, to where a lot of people, I mean, including myself, I've watched so many damn drone videos, like nonstop drone videos once you get started, and you can only understand so much without it being right in front of you and being able to trial and error that stuff yourself
until you go through the motion.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you guys, what would you say to someone who's looking to start in the hobby? What drones maybe would you suggest to them? What would you tell them from the very get-go?
I guess depends on what they want to do with it.
That's it. I mean, I changed too right from the beginning. I wanted
what are my options if I'm a beginner? I'm a noob. I'm somebody that's trying to figure it out. What are my options? I want to fly a drone. What do you fucking tell them?
What's your budget?
Right.
I guess because you can go a couple $100 to $10,000 depending on
or
under
more, $100 if you really want to just try it out.
Sure. Fly something in the house, or something under $100, probably not gonna go outside and handle wind at all.
Sure.
But you get the idea, flying in the house, and
right.
The stick time.
Yeah, if you like it,
you get to understand how, like you said, teaching your brother how to hover.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing to do, especially line of sight.
In acro.
Right.
And if you got a racer or high performance, it's just like you said, the micro movements, it's going to be a lot more on a faster, more high performance drone than a little tiny $80 drone.
Right.
With brushed motors.
Sure.
Whether you floor the sticks or not, it's not probably going to hurt very much. Where the racing drone, you floor the sticks, it's going to
smash
hit
into
you
the ceiling
or whatever, cut you or do some major damage.
Cut the nose off your dog.
As far as picking goes, though, I mean, I flip-flopped real fast. Like I was saying before, I went from the Cyma to wanting to deck it out with brushless motors to actually buying a Phantom,
right,
returning it a week later because I found freestyle and drone racing.
Right.
So it's all your budget and then figuring out what your options are as far as if you're into aerial, if you're into just flying around the house, maybe go with a whoop, things like that, or you go into the race or freestyle scene.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, for the folks who don't know the terminology that they're actually using, that you're really, really, starting out flat out, there's you're doing some camera drones, which would be, the obviously the DJI stuff where they've got the high end cameras, where scaled cameras, 1080p, and then they go up from there. And I think the Hubsons start at like 720,
probably.
720.
Yeah,
and
probably. I think that
fixed,
X4s. Yeah.
And they're fixed cameras, which are and you can, some of them have apps that you can see what you're looking at. Some you just have the card and you're just up there kind of guessing line of sight of where you're going to go. Some have screens built into the controllers themselves. And you kind of have to know which way you want to go. If you want to do some cool aerial stuff, which you can get very high up and use the camera and get good shots, over a scenic shot, the DJI, that kind of stuff. And then you get into, the racers and things like that, or the Tiny Whoop, which is like a very small FPV style one, which is it's a first person view where you have a set of goggles on your head and you're looking through there. It feels like you're flying in the cockpit of a plane and cruising around, which is amazing.
Yeah. That's what pulled me in.
Yeah.
The fact that
it's like you're riding on it, almost like a video game, or you're in the cockpit.
Yeah.
It's badass.
Yeah, it's super fun. It's super addictive, and it's a fucking blast.
Adrenaline rush.
Yeah, it really, really is, man. Either standing up or sitting down, I find myself cocking my head one way or the other.
Yeah.
Or my feet are like on my tiptoes. You know what I mean? Like, oh.
Or you actually spin.
Like,
you're standing in the same spot. Next thing you know, you're 180 degrees, and you don't even know why. You're like, wait a minute, what am I doing?
Yeah. So I mean, when I started, I went for the lower end, and I tried to tell a buddy of mine. So I took him out. He followed me to a field over in St. Paul, and I flew the Phantom, and I was just telling him what it does, showing him what to, this is this and this and that. And then within a couple days, he contacted me and was like, which direction should I go? And I asked him, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to go fast? Do you want to fucking, take pictures? What do you want to do?
You want to flip?
And I said, I sent him, things that I started with and other things that I saw that were cool. And then I saw him, sent him reviews of certain stuff. And then I showed him the Mavic. And from the very get-go,
So you have a Mavic?
I do not have a Mavic.
Oh, you just showed it to him.
No, I just showed him what it did. And
okay.
This is, dude, a quarter of the size of the fucking giant thing I have.
And they're amazing.
Yeah, and they're crazy. And, like a week or two later, he's like, well, I bought this, and he sends me the same picture that I sent him.
Nice.
And I go, dude, you're crazy. I was like, well, I know a guy who fixes shit.
And he's still flying it now.
Yeah, man, as far as I know. And he works a lot, so he doesn't get a lot of stick time, but
you've talked to him now, he's flying it. Yeah. And he likes it.
Well, they've got the goggles for those now, too.
Yeah. See, that's what's crazy about it, man, is that, and I think I told him flat out is that I think that's an expensive buy to jump in right away when you've never had any stick time, and you're going to crash the fucker.
Yeah.
But is he looking to race or just kind of fly it around? That's the thing. Yeah. If he's just looking to fly it every weekend and have some fun, take some pictures, the Mavic kind of gets the best of both worlds. Where
I'm hoping that he gets sick of it real quick, and then he wants to give it to me for cheap.
Yep.
There you go. Half the price. Yep.
Exactly.
Oh, dude,
then you can crash it, and I'll fix it for you.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it's worth that much. You've flown it already, so
yeah.
So now you guys, did you guys both start line of sight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the Sima was first person view, but I mean that camera was garbage.
But is that so? That was that on the
it
on the
synced
controller
into my phone,
okay,
and then my phone clipped into the transmitter.
Sure.
So
and when I started, they didn't really have. I mean, they didn't have they had obviously tablets, but they didn't have any apps that worked with drone. Even like the DJI Phantom 2 was. When I started, the Phantom 1 was out, and that literally you put a GoPro on there, no gimbal, and you take off, and what you record is what you record, and it's line of sight, and that's it.
Wow.
And then, a couple of years later, then the app was, included into that, and you can do, record and all that from the app and see what you're filming, and, so it's just crazy.
Sure. A buddy of mine bought Phantom 2 when they first came out. And he took a loan out to get this thing because this thing was expensive, but
Yeah,
he
like
had to have
$1,000
it.
or
I think he paid because he bought, a bunch of extra batteries and he bought all the accessories. He was going to get his Part 107, so he was commercially, allowed to fly for money, and he, was going to promote this, and he was going to make money doing this stuff. And I think he broke it a couple times, paid a bunch of money to get fixed, and now you can't even give the thing away for $300, and he's still paying off this money.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's how fast that this has evolved.
Sure.
Yep.
And it just keeps going.
It's going to probably keep going,
Yeah.
It's
technology, man. I mean, you could buy a sweet MacBook, or something, in 2 months later, the next best thing's out, i7, i5, i7, and all this other shit, it's insane.
Yeah, it's all fast.
Now with you guys dabbling in both ends of it, where you're building and repairing drones, you guys see how fast that goes. I mean, the all the boards and everything changing, and all the flight controllers and the speed controllers and everything like that.
Yeah,
it's just moving at light speed, and from even what I see, and you guys are really deep into it, what do you think is going to be the make all or break all for these as far as regulations right now? I mean, because they kind of FAA lifted a lot off of us
for the hobbyist,
for registration.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's going to be where you can fly and where you can't.
Sure.
It is going to be restricted by the cities now, or where you can, Minneapolis parks technically, according to the whatever, you're not supposed to fly in Minneapolis parks anywhere.
Right.
So I don't, people still do it. I've heard people be stopped by the cops and say you can't fly here, and they, leave.
That's it. Right.
So
I always try to search on my phone if I'm in a county or a town or something. I try to see if I can find some sort of county. What would you call it? A ban ordinance, county ordinance, city ordinance. I try to search them just because I don't want to get in any sort of trouble. I'm just trying to have a good time.
Exactly. Sure. And I think that's most of the people are just looking to go out and have a good time.
Right.
They're not out to try and I'm going to go fly in the park because it's illegal. They just want to go out and have a good time and find some place to fly.
Find all the hot naked chicks.
Yes, I was just going to say the worst is the neighbor that's like, you better not be looking at my windows. Right. My drone goes 100 miles an hour. I think I'm going to have a pretty hard time looking in your window.
Yeah, exactly.
Naked.
Yep.
Flippity naked.
Even the Phantoms with the 4K cameras. I mean, you have to be literally at the window in order to see in, or be able to see what's in there, or in, I mean, it's ridiculous how people are.
If you can see them, they're gonna see you.
I think that a lot of people think that those cameras are like a handheld
a
camera,
DSLR or something,
right,
with a zoom lens on it, and,
which it doesn't. I mean, if you to get to see that close into somebody's place, you're gonna hit your props on their window.
Pretty much,
The DJI now makes zoom cameras, but they're like $30,000 cameras.
Right.
So I mean, the average person to go spy on somebody, they're not going to be, having a $30,000 camera to go spy on you.
Right. I mean, even being involved in the hobby since November, I've had 20 people so far say, "Oh, well, you go spying in people's windows." It's like, fuck no, dude. Would you want somebody spying in your fucking window?
Have you ever flown this silently? I mean, they're pretty loud. It's not like you're gonna just sneak up on somebody.
Hold on, dude. I gotta flip it to silent mode.
It's stealth mode. Yep. I'm on spy mode right now.
Yeah. You can't hear it. It's just sitting at your feet, dude. You see it? Just went by. You can't even hear it.
What do they call it? They call it ninja drone. The ninja drone.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. People automatically go to bad places when they think of this stuff, and it's
sad.
Yeah, it sucks because we're having fun with it, man, and I want to enjoy this as much as I possibly can.
Yep,
and it's. I mean, you guys are trying to start a business and get involved in it. You've had a business for a while, and repairs and taking photos and doing all that stuff.
Yep.
And it's there's so many different avenues that you can go nowadays, and I see stuff on Facebook where they have drone courses and teaching people how to fly now.
Yeah, there's the FPV Academy, a lot of it's YouTube based and stuff, which thank God for, because as I call YouTube University. Right. I mean, if I don't know how to do it, I look on YouTube to figure it out, regard if it's fixing my car or whatever. Right. So thankful for YouTube, but yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff to learn how to do this stuff, and we're pretty much focusing on, continuing the DJI repair, and then also primarily just the mini quad high performance freestyle racing style drones, and then I think
hydro dipping, a little bit of hydro dipping and
3D printing.
3D printings,
Yep, and then hopefully we'll be able to get some tutorial videos up and stuff for people. I know there's plenty of
videos.
Build videos.
videos.
Yep, we're hoping to do that soon. And
Absolutely, more the merrier. I feel. I mean, I know there's some already out there, obviously, but more the merrier.
Yep.
I just think that this area, it's cold 6 months out of the year,
Right.
and that's a bummer for us to be in this hobby. But it doesn't stop me from wanting to do it or be in it.
Yeah.
So, and then the other thing is that there really isn't too many options for us to get stuff locally.
Yeah.
Or even talk to people locally, really. I mean, there's a couple Facebook pages, which they're good too.
And there is 2 local hobby shops, but the one is, Hub Hobby, they're a great shop. I bought in a lot of stuff from them, but they're a toy hobby store / they have a drone department, an RC car department, but as far as like FPV racing and the racing drones, they don't have, as far as in stock, they don't really have anything.
Or the new stuff.
Yeah, or the new stuff.
Really, you kind of need to be
if
pushing.
you want to, if you want to compete, and keep up with things, and a lot of this is, folks, is online stuff, and I think that if you paid, I'd be willing to pay an extra $10 to $15 more, to be honest with you, if I could walk into a place or meet somewhere and pick something up from somebody and have that, that particular, speed controller or that particular board or that particular frame.
Me too.
Or, hey, I broke an arm on this frame, instead of, waiting a week for it to come to town. And
or more, depending on where it comes from. Or if
Plus,
it's
you want to
China
fly
or,
now.
Yeah. And everybody does want to fly right now. Once you get into it, you want to keep flying. I know that with repairs, it's inevitable. You're gonna crash,
Absolutely.
and if you're not crashing, I mean, with a camera drone, they pretty much fly themselves. But in a high performance situation, when you're using acro and stuff, you're gonna crash. And if you're not, you're fucking not flying that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just wanting to be a part of this is it's a big step.
Right. It is.
And people who are getting into it, man, it's hard to find. I mean, it's hard to find people that are going to sit down and tell you all their secrets.
They just want to go on, once they get it running, they just want to go out and fly. Are you ready to fly? And if not, they're like, all right, we're going anyway.
But you want that guy, that person there. Like, I know for me, I wanted to get into this because I think it's sweet.
Yep.
But I wanted to meet people. I wanted to meet other people that are like-minded like myself, that I could potentially have some lifelong friendships out of. And that was something I really wanted. And then I also wanted to be able to see someone in person, look in their eyes and say, I feel like this is a stupid question. What do you think about this? And have them giving me their opinion.
Right.
And
I could talk for hours about this shit. I love it.
Yeah. Exactly. It just sucks you in. I mean, I grew up racing motocross and BMX and skateboarding, and
a lot less dangerous too, as far as your own physical.
Well, so I thought until this past week.
Cutting fingers and cutting legs and shit. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Right.
But you get that adrenaline, just like dirt biking or whatever. You get that adrenaline rush that you kind of haven't had for a while.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then get you.
Sure, absolutely, man.
I think our goal is, though, as far as the business side is, it being Minnesota and being cold, I love it here. I don't want to leave here.
Right.
I would like, if we could be successful at this, which I think if we play the cards right, would be okay. Get a facility that is big enough at some point, whether we made enough or got investors, where we had the storefront in front, and then the back. We had year-round indoor flying for high performance or down to your micros.
Tiny whoops. Or,
That is where I think...
That's a good idea, man. Yeah. I think that, especially here, man.
Could even put a garage door in there and do an indoor-outdoor, so in the summer you open the door and fly in and out and whatever. Yeah. Or in the winter, for all that matters.
I think we need it. I know there's guys that'll rent out. They do have some indoor stuff that happens.
Yeah, there's a couple places around here,
for sure. But it's not something that you can pay a small membership fee to, or a one-time entry fee, or whatever. Who knows what it'll be to get in, but
don't give away all your secret stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody's snatching them up off the pocket. Hey, that's a fucking good idea.
That's
you know what?
exactly-
My brother is a real estate agent, and we've got these warehouses. We're gonna
Just give us a call.
yeah.
Seriously, call us up. We'll help
let
you
us
out.
fucking fly at least.
Yeah.
Hey, come on in. We'll
Right.
give you a
We'll test
membership.
it out for you.
dude.
I got some state fair ideas. I'll keep them to
I'll
myself.
crash it into some shit. So with we're talking about ordinance with everything. Like St. Bonifacius is one of those places, right? That banned them altogether, right?
Well, so I haven't heard the latest, but they just had a couple meetings in the last couple months.
Sure.
And I think from what I heard, but don't quote me on it, but I think if
Definitely
you're
look
doing
it up
it
for sure.
for business, and depending on what you're doing, there's certain ways to fly, but you have to fly in, like from a private or approved private property, or they had some weird ordinance, but they apparently allow it now, where
Sure.
before they didn't allow it at all.
Right.
It was just
So if
no
you-
drones at all.
So you can actually fly on your property, or if someone gives you permission to fly on their property.
Yes,
Okay.
I think, but I'm not 100% sure.
Definitely
I was
check it out,
busy,
folks,
and
if
I was
you're-
going to try and go to the meeting, and I just, didn't get the notification in time, and
Sure.
had other stuff come up, so
Right.
I wasn't able to go. But I, wish I could have.
Now you were talking about doing a drone U thing recently, or coming up pretty
Yep.
soon, right? In New Mexico, or
July
something?
19th, I believe.
Now,
Yes.
how did you get hooked up with that? Was that something you just found online?
Yeah, through Facebook. I just, I don't know how it popped up, but what's probably been 3 years now, I think it's been.
Yeah.
But just something popped up, said, "Oh, top 100 join." It's Drone U top 100. It's whatever, free to join.
Right.
We need 100 people, whatever. So I signed up for it, and then got into that, started learning. And then I kind of went the, video route, and, bought a Phantom and started doing the video stuff, and, learned a lot of, I have to thank them for pretty much all the stuff as far as legal and all that stuff, that they pretty much taught me everything as far as all that. My 107, I studied with their study guide. I have a nighttime waiver, which means I can legally fly at night commercially.
Sure.
And, technically you're not supposed to fly at night commercially. So
Sure.
they helped me get all the approval and fill out the application for that. So they had a video that they have on their website. I followed that, and boom, sent it in, and 2 months later, you're approved. So
Very cool.
and then now they're doing the first ever fly-in, which I think is 60 people is the how many they're having, and it's a 3-day Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They
You
have,
said it's sold out right away.
yep,
too, right?
sold out like literally within a month. I think it's sold out, and it's in New Mexico, Albuquerque. They have their own little whatever obstacle course set up,
Sure.
and then so they're having obstacle course races and all this stuff, and then they're having video editing classes, photo editing classes, and all sorts of stuff, and just get together and learn and
I
have
fucking
fun with
love
drones.
that. I love that shit so much.
it should be pretty badass.
All of it together, man. Seeing these videos on YouTube. I mean,
Yep.
you were just showing me a video of a helicopter pulling a model plane, a nice model plane
Yeah.
too. That was a dope
Yep.
one with a gas engine. I mean,
Yep.
that was dope,
Yeah, it
dude.
was, yep.
And
Yeah,
he must
search
have,
that video. That
so
thing is
basically,
sweet.
what he probably did is he probably saw those guys coming into airspace and took it down and crashed it
Who
into that
knows?
tree
Yeah,
or something.
probably, or
So he's at the top of the trees, and the guy in the helicopter, who after you watch the video, you realize that he tells the guy that he flies him as well.
Yep.
Kind of flies around, and he's telling his co-pilot, he's like, wouldn't he just shit his pants if I went over there and pulled his plane out of the top of these trees, So then they fly over there in a fucking helicopter, a real helicopter, and pull this dude's model plane,
out of the top of the tree.
Yeah.
Very tip top.
Yeah, and then fucking bring it down to him and hand it to him. That was so dope, dude.
That would be so badass.
But like you said, YouTube is one of those spots where you can find anything on YouTube. You can freaking make DMT, for God's sakes, on YouTube.
Exactly.
So it's like
Open up your
see
pineal
some
gland.
some of the most amazing shit on there. And
Yeah.
and these videos, I do videos on the podcast and things like that, but these guys really, they're blogging and vlogging and doing all the shit, like, taking pictures of their everyday life and,
Yeah.
and these cats that they fly with, and just watching them and the camaraderie between all of those guys, like that's something that I wanted to do. And so when we, Kyle and I hooked up to go flying, and shit, he'll hit me up, 4 or 5 times a week, just going, "What's up, dude? Where are we flying this week?" Or hey, I'm working till this time. Or all charged up and ready to go. Yeah, well, I mean, it's just cool to have other people to fly with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
have your own little crew.
Yeah,
exactly.
man.
It's not as motivating going out to the park by yourself and sitting there and getting all your gear out. And I mean, it's still, don't get me wrong, it's sweet, and I still love to do it. But if you're like, oh, let's go meet 4 people or 2 people or whatever, and you're gonna have a get together and do some flying for an hour or two, it's obviously pretty sweet.
Well, other people's skills push your skills too,
Exactly.
and so that too makes you feel better too. That you guys are
that
getting
fucker
better
did
together.
a flip, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Well, that day that you and I and Brandon were there, and all of a sudden you're like, "Hey, Brandon, I could do flips with this thing," and he's like, "What would you do?" And I was messing with mine, and I look up and I just see it go whoop whoop, and I'm going, "Oh, there's hope right there," So I flip my switch and I go, from angle to acro like right away. No in between. I couldn't do no flips. I was bummed. It's like, damn, what do I got to do? And you kept saying, well, I'll come over and mess with it. We'll bench test it and get everything set up for you.
Which quad was this?
The Torrent. And then I said to him, I'm asking him via text, what do I got to do? Well, we'll just hook it up to Betaflight, and then, well, how do I do that? Okay, we got to go here, do this. And he basically walked me through it, and then got me to the point where I'm like, all right, I gotta fucking go on
and
YouTube.
You tried it, and
right?
Yeah, and
it can be super intimidating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because he basically explains everything. I mean, even when we were building the other one, is like he explained everything to me and showed me, told me what it does. This is what you get. This is the reaction out of it.
Yeah.
So then when we started monkeying with Betaflight, he's like, well, I haven't really tuned anything like this, but they're supposed to come out of the box, ready to rip, and I had no idea. I've never even, my receiver.
Well, essentially, they're supposed to come out.
But we swapped out your transmitter and receiver, so then obviously the transmitter switches weren't set up, mapped correctly, and that's why you needed to plug it in.
But even those little scores. I mean, people who are listening that are new to this, these are the things that springboard you to the next like goal in this hobby. Exactly. It's like when you find something cool. When I flew my Phantom, I wasn't getting cool shots at all. And then I went up north and flew it in my buddy's, over his land. And it was like, holy shit, I got a whole different perspective on what was a good way to look, which way, the sunlight. And, as the day went on and it went down, you get those golden hours early in the day. And then later when the sun's coming down, all the shadows and all the cool shit. It's springboard me into something else that I wanted to do. And then with the Whoop and then the Torrent, and learning every little thing, just even touching Betaflight and kind of, you see it on YouTube all the time, and they're talking about PIDs and they're talking about, tuning your quad to do all this cool shit.
Right.
Once you are able to have somebody like just get you to the fucking, you're at the edge of the diving board. You know what I mean?
What gets me up.
And you're looking down going, this is really high, and this dude behind you is going, it's not that high. You're going into water. You know what I mean? Exactly. And so it's kind of like that. You're springboarding into something cool and being able to do a flip. When I did the first flip in my fucking goggles, it was like, right? Cheering, by myself, and I'm going, yes.
Yeah, you didn't all of a sudden just see ground. Like you're like, I'm still going.
Yeah,
it's cool.
But then I did acro the other day, and I.
Oh, were you in horizon mode?
Kind of throw down, like throttle down a little bit as you're turning, because I'm like, you're used to throttling up when you're in horizon, you just flip, and then it's kind of wavering, and you got to throttle up. But when you're in acro, you fucking hit the turn and you're upside down and you throttle. You're throwing yourself right to the ground.
Well, it's tricky because in acro, it's like you give. And to keep your camera, to make it look like you're staying in one line, it's a little punch of throttle. Then you start your flip, then you cut the throttle, and you level out your flip, and then your throttle on again. So it's like, your coordination and time and all that for it to work out, it's totally... it's something to learn for sure.
But again, once you springboard to learning that, then you're fucking like,
right. Dude, when you can do them like 5 feet off the ground, you'll feel like hell yeah.
Dude, when I was able to even fucking fly in acro mode without crashing, I was like, because you kept telling me just go forward, but because it tilts you so much forward. Yeah, and you're like, just level it off and yourself and be able to turn. Yeah, and he kept saying, You don't take much, dude. It don't take much. You're gonna go
Yeah.
around
Oh
the
yeah,
corner.
you barely have to touch it,
Yeah.
and it's,
You're gone.
Yeah, well, like you're saying with your brother, like
Yeah.
micro movements. Just
Exactly. It's like you have to understand, like all the flight modes that there are. That horizon. You can do acro, but it keeps you in a horizon setting all the time. It'll always position you back to being level.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's level mode, which you cannot do flips. Then there's your acro, where you can roll. You can backflip, front
every
flip,
movement. You
every
can
movement.
control every movement.
Exactly.
It's insane.
And if you push it forward and you let go of that stick, whatever pitch you pushed it down to, once you let go of that stick,
It's
it
going.
stays
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
pitch. So people, I think, don't understand that. It's like you're on the sticks and you push forward and you let go and you're like, wait a minute, I don't want to be going that much forward. And then you pull back. Next
Too
thing you know,
hard.
you're too hard.
And you're-
Yeah,
yeah.
because you're used to like a DJI or something like that. And
Or
my
a-
brother yesterday, he
yeah.
flies in India.
Right.
My first time, I tried to do a flip line of sight with my Martian, and I flew it backflipped it right into myself.
Right.
Yeah, it's super dangerous, and you got to learn these things as you
well,
go.
and I mean, I guess if you're flying a Phantom or something, I mean, it's still good to learn to fly without GPS.
Yeah.
Because if your GPS ever fails,
You
you're
gotta be able to do
you're
it, yep.
SOL.
That was
you
one of
know?
the
yeah, you
first-
want to bring your quad back.
Dude, that was
Yeah.
one of the
And
first
you
things
can't
you
rely on
told
the
me right away as well.
You know,
Yep.
if you have a solar flare or something and your GPS gets messed up or whatever, you're fly away, bye bye.
Yep.
That's why I don't care what you want to do with a quad. I would 100% recommend a Hubsan X4.
Yeah, or something small
sit
like
on your
that,
couch,
yes.
do some flips, whatever you want to do,
Learn
but just
something.
learn how to fly that thing forward, backwards, left to right.
Yep.
How to hover.
The orientation, because without goggles on, if you turn it so that the camera is facing you or 180 from you,
Yeah.
the controls are backwards.
Right.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah.
And when you're in the goggles, forward is always forward. So you don't, it's,
Yeah,
it's
your
not that
orientation's never
confusion.
messed.
But then you take your goggles off and you're like, oh, this is easy. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, what do I do? And then bam, crash down it goes, or
Sure.
in a tree or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah. That was one of the big springboards for me too. When I watched one video after I bought my X4, I was doing it in the house a lot because I couldn't go. I mean, it was fucking starting to be
30
spring,
below.
so it was I was flying it in the cold. It was no big deal,
Yeah.
but too cold, it wouldn't let you fly.
Yeah,
exactly.
If it's snowing, you can only fly for so long before you're worried about shit getting in there and
or
shorting
wet
something out or doing
exactly.
something.
Conformal coating.
So when I got that, the X4 and flying in the house, the video that I found was facing it away from you.
Yep.
And just being able to get it off the ground and hover it in the same area.
Sure.
4 by 4 foot by 4 foot and keeping it in that area. And keeping it faced away from you. For like you said,
Yes.
forward is forward, right is right, left is left. And just starting with that line of sight, and then once you get in the goggles, it's completely different. I mean,
Yep.
Yeah.
I felt like I lost the line of sight ability to fly.
Yeah.
I think
after
most
pulled
people
them out.
do.
I'm like, holy fuck, man,
Yep.
this is way different than being right there.
And
Yeah.
it's not, I wouldn't say easier, but it's just, you don't have to think about reversing your stick control when you're in the goggles
Yeah.
because it's just, you're always looking forward.
Sure.
Yeah, it makes everything way more fluent for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing for people that are wanting to get into this hobby and buy something like a Phantom. Yeah, it pretty much flies itself,
Yeah.
And like you said, if you take it, put it into manual mode, and you're flying it around, you're getting the feel of this entire quad at the time. You know what I mean? Which way it goes, how fast it will go to the left or to the right or up or down or whatever.
But the Phantoms won't do flips really. I
Right.
mean, no matter what mode it's in.
I swear there's a Steel video out there where he hacked into the software and put it into a certain manual mode where you could do a full flip.
Which model do you know? Like
It was
a Phantom
the
2 or?
no,
Do
it
you
was
know
a
what video
three-
I'm talking
I
about?
know exactly
There
what
was
you're
a
talking-
buddy of his that lived in an art gallery.
Yeah, he just switched the motors on that one too, didn't he? He had like different motors on it.
Well, I know that he actually,
2 different videos, right?
yeah, I know he actually gutted one and
Right.
kissed it out. And,
Okay.
what I mean by that is kiss, like Flightduino, flight controller, ESCs, whatever. But no, he also, there's a friend of his, he's got a video where the guy lives in an art gallery and he
Yeah,
has
I
a
seen that one
Phantom
too, yeah.
and he wanted to learn how to fly manually. So he went and met up with the guy, and he logged into the computer. He did some stuff on it. He changed it into manual mode and had the guy fly it around. And he was worried because they only had a couple of props. And he could do full flips in that mode. So it did allow some acro.
I mean, maybe then they could have hacked it. I have no idea. You know, I haven't seen the video, so I don't know. But
yeah, check it out.
Every time I've flown them, you know, even in like whatever acro or attitude mode is what they call it.
Yeah.
There's GPS and attitude mode, and now the Phantom 4 has sport mode, which they both use GPS. Sport mode and GPS use the GPS, so it's always level.
Sure.
It always, if you let go of the controls, it literally locks itself in one spot and just hovers there.
Yeah.
If you put it in attitude mode, then it's still level, but it's like it's on ice. So
Right.
it would, you know, slide. The wind would blow it around, or if you push the sticks left and let go, it's going to keep going left until you stop. But you know,
So what's sport mode?
No, attitude mode.
I know, but you said sport mode.
Yeah, sport mode is basically it just gives it more angle.
Okay.
On the stick, so it's more aggressive, and you know, so instead of going a 20% pitch, it goes 40% pitch. So then
Right,
you know,
yeah.
it gives it more aggressive. You know, it can take off faster, and so instead of going 20, it goes 40 or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can film and chase a lot faster stuff.
Okay.
So, but you can go into and change the PIDs or I shouldn't say the PIDs, but I guess they're considered PIDs. But you can the gains in the software and adjust the gains, turn the throttle up and stuff like that to make it more sensitive.
And that's in the 4 or all of them?
All of them.
Yeah,
all of them. Yeah,
right.
just through the app.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, man, it's there's a lot out there, and I think getting into it. I think we've said this a few times now, but getting into it, I think it's a better idea to find something, smaller and something you're going to be able to fly indoors, and not hurt anything or get, Yeah, you see those great videos and all of that great footage and scenic views and being able. What I would suggest is getting something with a 720 camera, fixed camera. Get the idea of flying the thing. Get some video if you want to make those videos happen. Get some editing software. Fuck with that shit. Get fluent in all of that stuff first, and flying.
Not necessarily even a camera on it. If you just want to learn how to fly, I mean, if you have a camera, it might be a little more than just buying something, a little
real basic,
$30 one without a camera. Just learn to fly it in your room, around the house.
I think I paid $25 on eBay for my Hubsan X4.
Yeah.
And then when I grew out of that, I sold it to a coworker that wants to get into it. So I'm going to probably end up building him one, and it's all it takes. Just spend that $25, fly around the house, check it out, and
if you like it, step up from there.
And then it gets extremely more expensive.
Oh
yeah.
I think I'm to get
Don't
set
say
up.
it. Don't say it.
I know I shouldn't.
But I get everybody in trouble.
I'm not going to say this is what I did, but to
allegedly
to be comfortable with a high performance drone and to have your lipo charger, to have enough lipos, to have goggles, your transmitter, the quad itself, extra props, something.
Don't do it.
Yeah, to haul it in. I'm gonna say you're $15,000 to $2,000 all in.
How dare you, dude? You just dick kicked all of us.
I did.
Nobody's getting drones now.
Oh, they'll get them.
But don't be shy. I mean, don't shy away from it because you hear that price tag. Because honestly, if you think about it, you get what you need that you can you get a receiver that you can use on smaller things. You can program other things.
Yes,
the transmitter, the goggles. A lot of that stuff.
You won't grow out of.
The batteries. Well, the batteries do go bad over time, but you can throw batteries on. Already. But you can put them on, a couple different quads. You can use the transmitter on 2 different quads. You can use the goggles on. It's not buying a new transmitter with. Well, most of the quads, you can. The little more advanced ones you can use the same remote with.
And that's the thing I had to explain to my wife that didn't know anything about drones when I was all totally 100% immersed was, when I say this price tag, she'd be like, well, geez, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
I'd be like, but you have to understand, I'm going to buy this transmitter once. I'm going to buy this battery charger once.
Yes.
I'm going
Right.
to buy these goggles once.
Yeah.
You know, so
or at
there's-
least for 3 years probably,
Yeah.
or unless
but you
something
should be
dramatically
able to
changes.
sell them to somebody
Yeah,
and get something back on them
Exactly.
for sure. And so you're not totally just out of pocket all this stuff. And there's great, because technology is moving so fast. There's cheap goggles now. There's
Yep.
cheaper transmitters now. There's cheaper
Yep.
chargers now.
And I mean, and that's like the price tag cheap, not
Yeah.
like quality cheap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Goggles
Yeah,
that
thanks
are
for
coming
pointing
out
that out.
for $80 that you got a DVR in,
Yep.
and then and then you've got the high end with what is it, the Amways or what is the
Amways,
Fat Sharks.
Fat
Fat
Sharks.
Sharks.
Yeah.
You know,
I got the Fat Shark HD V2s, not the new ones, the HD3s, but
Yep.
they're the HD, the first version or
Okay.
whatever. They have the 50-degree field of view, and they're expensive,
Yeah.
but they're nice.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah,
like 'em.
and it's a scary thing if you really want to get into it, but start small, man. That's where I
Yeah.
I would suggest anybody to just start small and do a lot of research on what you're doing. There's a lot of great reviews out there. If you find
Tons.
a bird that you like, fucking do a review on it, because there's a ton of them out there,
Yep.
and
Google
people will
it,
give
YouTube it.
yeah, they'll give you a straight shot. They'll shoot you straight on what you're looking for, and if it's not, don't settle for just one. It review a bunch of different ones, because there's so much out there, and and it's just growing and growing.
It's crazy when you go to a website and type in drone frames,
Right.
and you get 20 frames or something.
Well, that one day
it's
that
like-
we were at Hub, and that guy came in, and he got his Mavic taken away, or at least he
Yep.
told us that
Yep.
he did.
Yep.
And he had one, and he was asking Brandon about that Breeze or something. It was something like that. They had
that little white, yeah.
yeah, the little
Yep.
like selfie drone.
Yep.
And he was asking him, well, what's a good one to buy? And I think that one's still like $100 or
Yeah,
more,
it's
isn't
a
it?
couple
for that
$100.
pocket drone, the
Yeah,
little
it's the
breeze.
Breeze,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think you're right.
And it doesn't go very high and isn't very stable
No.
from what I've seen in any of the reviews
It's
of that
supposed
stuff.
to have altitude hold, though, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
it
Yeah.
does.
It's
And
just not as
but,
good.
Brandon just kind of looked at him and was like, nah, that's not the one you want.
Exactly.
It's like you got to do the research. Even
Yeah.
if you want to,
Yeah.
mess around with it, it's better to get your money's worth and get
Definitely.
get as much as you want out of that particular
Right.
bird, So
Save your money if you're really thinking about some of this
Yeah.
stuff, because like I said before, you might dump $75 buying the same thing 3 times
Right.
because it's
Yeah.
not as good, where you
Right.
could have just saved
Yeah.
and waited a little bit, bought something better, and it's going to last.
They just
you a
want to fly,
heck of a
though.
lot longer.
They just want to get on
They
and fly.
do. I know, and I can't blame them. I really
Right.
can't.
Right.
I know. I'd say save your money too, and
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing, because I remember
And
when
if you
you
get the
showed me
bug-
the Whoop first,
Yep.
and I was like, how much is this? And you told me, and I was like, no way can I buy something like that and feel comfortable. I get sticker shock no
Yep.
matter what I do,
Yeah.
but buying something that small that I can't fly outside, but I have a bigger one that I can fly outside. I
Right.
just didn't,
Yep.
it just didn't equate for me. And then when I bought it, I was like, oh shit,
I need more batteries.
Oh, it's on.
I'm going to get more batteries.
Yep.
I need more batteries tomorrow again.
Dude, he just says fiend. That's like, he'll just text me, "You're fiending, dude." Hell yeah,
$500 in batteries. Yes.
For a tiny whoop.
just going crazy. All right, well, we got some more toots. We got a lot of stuff to get to before we get through all of these questions and bullshit that I've got here written down, and more keep popping into my head. I should be writing them fuckers down too. But we've got some Metallica. We picked some Metallica, which is really cool. Some old school stuff. We did so. I picked a Yellow Wolf song because I like Yellow Wolf a lot, and then we did some old school Chili Peppers and some Jane's Addiction, which is kind of cool because Dave Navarro played in Chili Peppers for a little bit. So stick around, folks. We'll be back.
It's the worst fucking hit I ever got in my life. Next time don't be so fucking eager.
What is it? Mallory Knox right there talking. You're listening to Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 159, the Drone Cast with Kyle and Josh and myself, the noob extraordinaire, the Crash Master General over here. And let me see. Do me a favor. Check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com. On the right side, you'll be able to connect with us on iTunes and Stitcher. On ritualmadnesspodcast.com, I've got every one of the episodes up there. All you got to do is go to the episode tab. There's 158 up there right now, or 57. 58 will be released this week, and then this one will be released shortly
Tomorrow?
thereafter. Yeah, I wish tomorrow. I could edit it, but I won't. I'd skip a whole episode and everything. But you can hit all the episodes there on that particular page, or you can go to iTunes or Stitcher, and on your space phones, Android and iPhones, and just push in Ritual Madness Podcast. You'll be able to find us. We're there. 150 something episodes, and I'll tell you what, some of them fall off as well on the Stitcher app, so you won't be able to start from the beginning. But on the website on ritualmadnesspodcast.com, you actually can go from number 1 all the way up to 159. So do that, check it out, get us some hits. Go ahead and go on there. There's a ton of bands, and primarily if you're listening to this drone podcast, it's basically I do a lot of stuff with metal bands here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. And, the music is my main thing, and embroidery and doing things like that. But this drone stuff has really got me by the nuts. So I really fucking enjoy this hobby. It's a blast. I've been meeting some really cool people and flying and doing some fun stuff. But again, go check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com, iTunes and Stitcher, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You can catch us on all of that stuff. If you want to check out our station, which is being maintained right now, but download the Listen to My Radio app. That's LISTN, the number 2, My Radio. You can get that on iTunes or the PlayStation or the Play App Store, or whatever the fuck it is for Android. Download that. Search Ritual Madness Podcast in there. You can listen to our station 24/7, 365. Playing all kinds of stuff, all kinds of metal, all kinds of punk rock, all kinds of rap, all kinds of good stuff. Some comedy in there. I like to mix it up a little bit. Down on the right side again, scroll down to that Amazon link. Bookmark that Amazon link as your own every time you buy something from Amazon. Kicks us back a couple pennies at no cost to you. And there's a donation tab if you feel like donating to the podcast, want to keep this thing going. And hopefully these guys want to do some drone podcasts after this too. It'd be a blast to kind of keep people updated
over there.
and doing, our progress actually on which direction we're going with our hobby here. And if we can answer any questions as these get going, and we put them up on YouTube and have people asking questions or anything like that, or where they can get their drone repaired, or how
We'd
they
love
can
to answer.
it'd be awesome to be able to network with other drone other hobbyists and people that are working this thing, man, because it is getting big and big and bigger and bigger. Every year is exponentially growing. So it's super cool to be involved in this stuff, and I would love to do this podcast and just keep people up to date and see what other stuff we can do as far as any kind of help.
Anything I can give back from what I've gotten, or just to continue on with what I've
so much
been
to know
enjoying.
learn, and it's never ending.
Yeah, for sure, man. And definitely go check it out and all that other good stuff. Here's one thing, man, that I've noticed. So I want to kind of get into this YouTube stuff, because this is, it's fucking huge, man. And I'm seeing Josh Bardwell, and I'm seeing Johnny FPV, and I'm seeing Steele Davis, and I'm seeing Final Glide, and Tommy, oh my god, and all the guys from Rotor Riot and Ladrib, and all these great pilots out there doing some killer YouTube videos and everything, and just having that illusion that it is that easy to get up there and fly like those dudes.
Oh, they make it look so easy.
It's so fucking easy.
Not.
It's just ridiculous, man. And it's becoming, you hear people that have been in the hobby a lot longer than I have talking about, these vlogs and these things ruining this hobby. Do you guys have any kind of opinion on any of that stuff?
Well, maybe some of the things they've done you could say were questionable, like you're talking about before, flying high performance drone over a crowd of people, certain things like that. But I've also seen them pull it back sometimes too, you just got to use common sense. Sure. I think.
And I would like to say to people, when you're seeing these videos, just know that these guys are professionals, and that they really know their craft, and they
Most
really,
of them.
for most of them,
Like, obviously Casey Neistat,
right?
When he first started out and got drones,
Sure.
He was just flying right through New York, and he'd have GPS issues and crash them, and he didn't care. But
Right.
He
And
obviously
he's in the limelight. He's on what,
Yep.
CNN or something.
Yep.
He's got a whole big thing there
Oh, yeah.
too.
Well, didn't he have a big thing where like he said something, upset a bunch of people, and then something about cops or something, and then he pulled back his vlogging, and then he sold his business to CNN, so he's working for them.
I don't know. And now he's starting his vlog again, and I don't know what his,
He's getting that money though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That guy has charisma, and people take to that stuff.
Yep.
But again, I mean, obviously, my first thing that I would say is use common sense and stay away from people if you're just getting into it. Get an open field and have a somewhat soft landing for when you're going to crash, because those guys are out, in these big structures and these business, areas, flying these things because they can. They're that good to do it. Most of them, and there's a lot of them that can't. But you got to think about this. You're spending hundreds of dollars to get this thing up and flying and running and tuned the right way, and you're going to go fly it into a bunch of concrete. You know what I'm saying?
My recommendation would be to find grass.
Yeah.
Stay as low as you can.
Yeah.
And then once you're ready to start trying flips, stay, treetop height.
Yep.
So find your money spot. But
the thing is, most people want to just get up in the air and get up high, and I'll be safe, going up higher. But if there's an issue and you have to kill the throttle, then you're dropping from that much higher, and could cause more
that's
damage.
why I say stay low, because you're going to break less shit when you're
Exactly.
lower to the ground.
Exactly.
Right. Well, I mean, with the camera drones, that seems to be where I crashed a lot is being, just above 7, 8 feet, 10 feet in the air, and not seeing scraggle off the tree or doing something stupid.
Yeah.
And when you hit return to home, if you're not hip to what's going on, return to home, with a standard, you're fucking flying into everything. It doesn't have the sensors to stop you. And,
But even the pro, and it's still, you have to set a return to home point, and you have
a
to
certain height.
A certain height.
Yeah.
It comes set factory to a certain height, but if you're in an area where there's tall buildings or there's stuff in the way, it picks a direct line from wherever you hit the button to you receiver, to the home point. And if there's anything in the way, it's going to hit it. Where obviously, like you said, the 4 and the 4 Pro now have the sensors, so they're supposed to actually stop and raise up and go over a building, over a tree, around it, whatever. But if the sensor fails, is it going to do what it's supposed to?
Sure.
So
and I saw this video of a guy who had one of those Aspires. And he just had it repaired. Slapped a battery in it, took it out, and then he was flying it on a pier and was able to limp it to this other end of the pier, and then lost signal, and it landed just on the edge of the pier, and he couldn't get to it. It was all security.
Okay.
And he had to go beg the security to let him go, get this, couple $1,000 drone, this sweet ass
and
camera.
that was lucky.
Yeah, he got
sometimes
super lucky,
they're just like, nope, you're SOL kind of. Sorry.
Did you and I were talking about I think it was a Phantom 4 that flew and landed on the cathedral, wasn't it? Did you ever end up fixing that one?
I did not. They never called me back. They were, just weird hours and
kicking tires,
trying to get a hold of me and have me deliver, pick it up from them. And I'm not a delivery service, so
right.
But they never called. But yeah, I don't know. She basically, what it sounded like is she said she was flying at the cathedral and hit the roof and talked to somebody and got it back.
Right.
So, but same thing. Why did it crash into the cathedral? Why, were you that close? Were you just, did it return to home and it crashed into it? Who knows?
Sure.
But, that's going to put a bad name for everybody or make it harder for everybody else to, enjoy the sport.
Sure. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff to get into, man. And definitely, folks, if you're getting into this hobby, you want to, look at ordinances. You want to check and see. You want to be 5 miles, 5 miles away from an airport. And I mean, I'm right down the street from a freaking airport.
Me too. I'm literally, I think it's a quarter of a mile from a pretty big one.
Yeah. It's just kind of sketchy, what I mean? And you want to be safe, and you want to make sure that you're using common sense. You don't want to fucking fly over a park full of kids and do something stupid or try to scope hot chicks on a beach somewhere. That's
well,
that's
it sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, it is pretty. I mean, come on, everybody wants to, chase some tail or whatever, look at some tail. But
Yeah.
it's like, you know, you're going to get yourself into trouble and you know, get a lot of other things taken away from everybody else. So what do you guys, you guys have any sites on or any, are you subscribed to anything on YouTube or any specific pilots that you guys like to watch or any specific blogs or anything like that?
I mean, I don't know. Rotor Riot's always good to watch. You know, they always got good stuff.
Right.
But, you know, any of those big guys are always fun to watch.
Sure.
Yeah, I follow Stinger Swarm.
Yep.
Joshua Bardwell.
Yep.
Ledreb.
Yep.
Rotor Riot.
Yep.
Project Blue Falcon.
I think I have that one too. Yep.
Yep. Painless 360.
Yeah, they're good.
I don't have that one.
RC Model Reviews.
I have that one. Yep.
Who else is there? Schizo.
Yep. God, I love his shit, man.
Yep.
Dude, he's just amazing.
Yeah. I like the way he
Dude, his
he
flow is
teaches you how to
amazing.
PID your quads and
Yeah.
stuff. I like
Yeah.
his videos on that. Yeah, most of those guys, I mean, and it's funny because they talk about, you know, when you're watching a certain video and you're like, wow, this is badass. And then they're like, yeah, you know, I've only been doing this for about a year. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not there yet, but I'm saying it's like, yeah. So you can progress fast if you're able to, you know,
dedicate
put the
some time
packs in.
to and put some packs in and
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely. Now, are there any companies or frames or motors or, you know, what have you that you guys would recommend or that you like to use or that, you know, companies you like to use, companies, you know, you want to potentially hook up with as you're building, you know, this ongoing adventure that you guys are jumping into?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch. We've reached out to RunCam for
Right.
FPV, you know, your standard cameras for you to match to your goggles. We also talked to Foxier, talking with Flyduino for the KISS stuff.
DYS.
Yep, DYS. Looking into was it FPVmodel.com. They're the ones that are producing the actual branded Betaflight F3 board.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got the built-in OSD and the PDP already built into it, which is amazing. I'm running the DYS F4 Pro right now on my D Quad, and that thing it's just awesome because I also run a TBS Unify Pro video transmitter, and it's got the smart audio feature, and so I can just move my sticks a certain direction and then look at my goggles on my screen, and it pops up, you know, a whole menu of items to check out, and I can go over to my video transmitter settings and I can change all channel, band, everything.
It's amazing.
Right from the goggles. I mean, no
That's
more
crazy.
I
dip
just
switches.
saw it when he put it on the roof that day. That was when I saw it the first time, and it's just, you know, almost not game changer, but it's huge. You know,
It's
you don't
awesome.
need you don't need a computer to, you know, do pretty
adjust
much
your
anything
PIDs,
now. Yeah, you can
everything.
do everything right from your goggles, basically.
Sure.
So
That's super dope.
Yeah, and then they even teamed up with, because it's open source software, they teamed up with the guys from KISS, so you can actually flash Betaflight onto all the KISS stuff now, which is pretty cool because...
Oh shit, Gene Simmons is fucking up drone stuff already. No I'm kidding, sorry. That was just a huge Facebook thing where he was trying to
yeah, I know.
trademark the
Yeah, I heard
hand
about
symbol.
that.
Sorry.
I didn't hear about that.
I just ruined that whole thing. Go ahead.
Oh,
keep
no,
going,
it's
dude.
all
Sorry
right.
about that.
But yeah, I'm just saying they did that stuff, so you can... The guys that, you know, love the KISS stuff, because KISS has some of the best speed controllers on the market still. Like Betaflight's just releasing 32-bit ESCs,
Right.
which are pretty great, and it's also a closed source project, so the guys should be able to make some money on this one,
Nice.
Right.
which is good for the
Yeah,
hobby,
good
you know,
for
to
that.
continue growing it.
Yeah.
And then
What else? TBS.
but yeah, so that's TBS, and talking to the guys from D Quad to run the Obsession frames, because they're just super awesome. And
Armonton.
Armerton.
Armerton.
Yep, Armerton are actually holding the Oomph 2206 2300 kV Velvet. It's their freestyle motor, so it's supposed to be pretty sweet. The original Oomph is super efficient. so it's not so hard on your lipos. So
Sure.
it lasts a lot longer. So I'm really
Now, so is
excited.
that the second run of those now? That's
Yep.
their version 2 or whatever.
Yeah, this is like, well, it's a totally side different deal. The oomph motor is the original is just more of a standard 2206. It's up there with like the Brother Hobby T2 Tornadoes or the Zenom Fusions.
Sure.
You know, the Lumineers. You know, they've got the comparable ones, but they were they tend to be more efficient, I think, than a lot of those other ones. You might not get quite the thrust that you would. Sure. And they came out with these. It says the same stator and KV, all that, but they have more of a bottom end, and you're not going to have that top end. So when you're doing freestyle and you're just wanting to pop over a tree real quick and kind of come down and you want to grab yourself, it's all about them, 30, 40-foot drops and being able to just grab yourself. It's not so much chucking yourself.
Sure.
I mean, they will, but they're more designed for that. And the only other motor on the market right now that's designed for that are the steel motors.
Right.
And they're $28. These are $21.50, I think.
Save
it's
quite a bit in a set of 4 anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a one-stop shop. So you pick up the Chameleon, you
Yep.
pick these up.
Sure.
You know, pick up-
ESCs, the whole deal.
Yeah.
So I mean,
We can build it too, whatever.
The idea behind you guys kind of working on this project together is that you guys are trying to make the higher end stuff more available here in the Twin Cities, or I guess through the internet. You guys want to get things started on there, obviously,
Correct.
and
We want a
offer the build status to where they can pick what you guys offer.
Yep.
And then you guys put it together, test it out, and then send it back out to them.
Yep. Pretty much
Yeah.
ready to fly.
Yeah.
And that's key. That's awesome. I don't know how many businesses actually offer all of that.
Yeah.
I think Flight Test does it with the aliens, and I don't know, but I don't know about too many others.
Sure.
I know there's guys that'll post just Craigslist stuff, but we want to be able to provide that to you. I know there's a lot of guys out there that can build them and know how to do the programming and stuff like that, but they're busy people.
Yep,
right.
Just like
they
us.
want a badass quad,
Yeah.
and they want to just hook it up to their transmitter, and they want to fly. So we want to hook them up with the best frame, with the best components, and send it out to them
Yeah.
so they can just plug it in and take off.
Nice.
And not have quality parts and something that's not just going to fall apart, or
Sure.
a $10 motor and all of a sudden it flew apart in midair or something because
Right.
it was just bad bad design or cheap
Right.
metal or whatever, just bad quality control.
Yeah, I've been kind of hearing a lot about that kind of stuff. People trying to, like you said, with the Martian 2 or Martian 3, whatever it was.
Yeah, all that clone stuff.
Yeah, clones. And I just saw a big discussion about it on one of the forums, talking about those clone, different things. And you should stick with the real deals, the guys that are actually using quality materials to put these fiber frames together and get everything set. It's well drilled, well taken care of, well tooled, well machined.
Yeah. I think that quality carbon is key. I also think that consistency is key.
Oh, yeah.
So knowing, that your quad is going to take a beating, but it's also going to keep flying the way that you expect it to fly is a huge thing. And I actually learned that from watching these guys on YouTube and hearing them talk about some of these products and stuff. And through my experiences over the past several months, I'm finding that to be more and more true. So it's you want that quality, absolutely.
Right. Well, that's good, man. Fucking. So I picked up this list, and so what are some of the frames? I mean, you mentioned the D frame a couple times and the Chameleon frame. Are there any other frames that you guys would recommend as far as someone that may be looking for a cool frame?
Absolutely. The Immersion RC, anything from those guys. The Alien frame. If you're into racing, the Helix, super spendy, but I mean that thing hauls serious ass.
Right.
There's some other frames that are coming out that are it's fully enclosed, it's fully encapsulated, so it's carbon all the way around. It looks like a little spaceship almost. And that stuff's going to be released soon. I can't tell you the name of it right now. I don't even know if they've really let it out. I know there's I think it's Rotor, or no, wait, what's that? It's almost like Japanese name. It's like I don't know. I can't think right now, but it's there is one out there, but I don't think it's a carbon cap on the top. and some other ones would be anything from Ready Made RC.
Right.
Super cheap stuff, but high quality.
Right.
And those guys, I think, run a really good operation.
Okay.
I've seen that. I've seen that name a bunch.
I've bought stuff ready-made RC back before really doing the drone stuff. When I was doing RC airplanes, I mean, we were buying stuff from ready-made RC back then. I mean, they were around back then, and I'm sure same thing. They put out good parts. That's why they're still around.
Right.
Yeah, they've got a lot of good stuff going on. I like ordering from those guys.
And they're quick.
They are.
That's good too.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now we'll move to the next one. We'll keep this kind of going quick. How about the motors? Motors that you could think off the top of your head that stick out.
Motors, anything from Armerton, the Oomphs, the ZMX, I call them ZenMX Fusions. Pretty much, if you're going to run a 5-inch quad, I would stick with the 2206, 2300 kV. If you want to race, I would go with a lower, like a 2205, and then go on the higher kV, because you're just going to get that crazy punch, crazy thrust. So you're probably talking like a 2450 kV or 2500 kV. And then the brands, I mean, there's Hyperlights. They're really good race motors. Anything from Brother Hobby. Those are all pretty good brands.
T-Motor.
T-Motor, T-Motor, the F60s, F40s.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's quality stuff.
Lumineer.
Yeah. I think people are pretty much, there's probably some people still flying Cobra, but
Yeah.
I don't hear them nearly
heard
as much.
no.
Yeah.
Right. How about let me see, ESCs.
ESC as well. Kiss, hands down, has the best. The 24 amp race edition. That is 32-bit processor. It's just the things they're gnarly.
S, you said BLHeli.
Yep, and now BLHeli is caught right back up. So I think KISS was leading for a long time, and Betaflight and BLHeli and stuff was behind. Where now they kind of play a teeter-totter with each other at this point.
Yep.
And so everything's on BLHeli. Like right now, I just had it shipped in their new 32-bit. I think they're Wrath is what they're called. The speed controllers. Really nice stuff. They're super micro. So if you got a quad that has thin arms, like narrow arms, and they don't stick over the edges at all. Nice. Really, really clean look. Yeah.
Nice. And then PDBs, what about those?
Well, PDBs I think are becoming a thing of the past.
Right.
Everything is trying to get smaller, trying to reduce your stack size. So you just have less weight, you have less stuff to deal with. Everything's getting blended. So a lot of the flight controllers, like the DYS F4, has your PDB built in.
So it just has more pads around it and has more spots for you to connect.
Exactly. It's got more spots for that. Yep. The Betaflight F3 has it. What else? The KISS is working on one. It's not released yet. Mm-hmm. So they'll have one come out. The lot more are going with that. And they're also the all-in-one with the ESCs are built in too. But I'm not a fan of that, because if burn one ESC, you might as well chuck the board unless you know how to desolder what burnt up and exactly
which is micro
size.
Soldering and
you better have a good
tech
magnifying glass.
Yeah.
And
I think Kyle knows somebody who does.
Depends how small it is.
Right. Let's see OSDs.
Well, again, stick with the all-in-one boards.
Right.
Betaflight's getting that, or you can do the Minimos OSDs. FPV or Furious has a sweet board. They've got the Piggy, so it actually screws into the back of your run cam or your Fox ear, and you just solder the wires that plug into the camera right into the back of that. So it doesn't take up any space either.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's really slick too.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's very cool, man. Very cool. And then like say flight controllers or VTXs or anything like that. What
VTXs? I would stick with TBS when it comes to that. They just have really nice stuff. I think their components are super high quality. They've got that smart audio feature to tie into your OSD, so you can change all your settings right there while you're in your goggles.
Right.
If you're at a race and you want to put it in pit mode so you're not taking someone else's feed, it's all, you can set all that crap up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No computer required. Yeah,
exactly.
It's pretty sweet.
Right.
Yeah, it's really nice. Being able to do that stuff in the field is where it's at.
receivers and camera mounts. Camera mounts. Yeah. What do you guys fly? Your degrees right now? What do you mount your stuff at?
I'm at 35. I think 25 is a good starter for people because you're not going to be going too fast. You'll grab your horizon pretty quick. Once you get up to that 45 mark, I mean, you're a racer. So
yeah, you
don't need to listen to me.
If your camera's
right
if your camera's tilted that far and you can, you're looking up at the sky when you're on the ground, pretty much.
Yeah. We don't need to have a conversation.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know what's going on.
You're just listening because you think we're fucking cool.
Yeah. Fuck it. This list is just all the other stuff it's kind of like landing pads and
Sure.
standoffs, different
Props.
gauges. Yep.
You got props on there. I mean, there's tons of
props
props.
are
I
down there
mean,
too,
Yeah, I mean,
that's
your
another
props
thing
are all
that's-
going to kind of depend on the size of quad that you're running. If you order a 6-inch quad, you got to fly 6-inch props.
Right.
You're going to have different motors. It's going to be different stuff. But like I said, I think that 6-inch props they're just kind of difficult to find. That 5-inch, I think, is just kind of that sweet spot. It's not too big.
That's what everybody's saying.
Small.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good, and the prop selection's super nice. If you had if you're looking to buy props and you're like, well, what the hell does 50-40 mean? Well, it's the 50. All it is saying it's the 5 in the front it's a 5-inch prop, and then the 40 would be it's the degree of pitch that the prop is pushing out.
Sure.
And then if there's another number behind that says 3 or it says 4, that just means how many blades are on that prop. So yeah, and then the higher up the pitch goes, the less efficiency you're going to get out of your battery.
Right. So just choose
but
it
they're
up.
more aggressive.
Yeah, more aggressive. You're going to race. Yeah, absolutely. Throw on a real steep pitch on that thing and high
chop some
KV
air.
motor
Yeah,
and just
gone.
rip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chop some air, get some shit
Exactly.
going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's cool. What do you guys? What's the name of the company you guys are trying to start?
QuadstyleRC.
QuadstyleRC.
It's
Awesome.
all about the style.
Right. Is that how you kind of came up with that idea or what?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just, I think everybody on YouTube, they all have their AKA names,
Yep,
their
sure.
pilot
Yeah.
names.
Yep.
And I was looking for one. I didn't want to be something FPV, and I just thought quad style sounded cool.
Right.
And then once Kyle and I started rapping out a lot more and talking about, getting more involved in the hobby and putting products out there for people, QuadstyleRC just sounded like a spot I would shop at.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, it's a very cool name.
Yeah.
Very awesome. Hell yeah, dude. Well, that's fucking badass. I'm excited to see you guys which direction you guys are gonna go, man.
Yeah.
Like I told Kyle, I'm like fucking help me out, dude. Fucking, I'll do whatever I can, man. To fucking
Make deliveries. No, I'm kidding.
That's shit. I would do that in a minute. I got deliveries in this area of tools here, tools there. I'm going take this box over here, dude.
Hell yeah,
That'd fucking
man.
be awesome, man. Hell yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. We've got what we say. We got I've got a couple more things I can ask you and monkey around here. We got some more tunes that we can play. How important is it when you guys watch videos of people flying and stuff? I find it, a lot of people using the same music and a lot of EDM and things like that, where it's a lot of techno style shit. It fits well. But I really want to use some fucking metal, dude. You know how many metal bands that I know? I've already found there's a band that I'm doing a show with June 30th. It's their CD release, Simothwa. They don't have a singer. So it's all just metal.
Nice.
They're
guitar
super
and
talented. They're super talented, and they have the craziest names for their song. What the fucking they did the Man Bear Pigs. They got that. That's a song of theirs.
Nice.
I know the morning show on 93X they call the Wild the Man Bear Pigs, but they've got what is it? Fucking Street. Sorry, damn it. Street Fighter. God damn, I'll find some
Just
of
some
the
crazy names.
Yeah, really, really cool names for
Nice,
their songs
that's
too.
sweet.
That's awesome.
I just think it I mean, you mix it up a little
Oh,
bit,
yeah,
man.
definitely,
And you're getting
definitely.
super aggressive or you're crashing into shit.
Yeah.
But once,
Yep.
some heavy metal, man. Throw some Pantera on there. or
Yeah.
something, you know what I'm
Well, a
saying?
lot of that, it's all royalty free too.
Yeah, that
that's part of the
depends on-
problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody, unless you're Tommy Umaguad, who's sponsored by Mountain Dew, you can't use any real music.
Right.
So,
well, I know so many bands that would be willing
if
to
they
just
would
go,
give
dude.
the okay, then that's all.
Because I mean, if you think about it, I mean, every band wants their shit to be heard, and if you're getting mad hits on a thing, and they're like, damn, because I mean, your movements. As it accents, say you're coming down and you're just dropping out of a tree and you're swinging back up again and it hits a good, good note and goes into a heavy grind or something, it's going to inspire people to go, damn, I want to hear more from that band. I think people will jump all over that shit.
I think you're right. Yeah,
definitely.
You have the editing skills to pull that off. Hell yeah.
You easily could. A lot of times, even in like Windows Movie Maker, you can have it auto do it, and a lot of times they'll see the wave files and it'll just click it all together. I noticed that in the DJI app that they have a something that auto edits it. Yeah. And I thought it was pretty cool. They added some, cheesy music to it, but it was still
did that with GoPro
cool.
with they call it like quick capture or something like that. And they put up a flight video and they just kind of chopped it up and they threw some music to it, and it's pretty much it. It's my first flight video, so it's kind of like, I'm up, I'm shredding, I'm crashing.
right.
That's pretty much what it was. And I'm like, I think I added in a caption. I'm like, this isn't easy.
Right.
So fuck off.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's take a listen to some tunes. I got some Gabriel and the Apocalypse. They are out on tour right now with Wednesday 13. They're doing a United States tour, which is super cool. These guys have been working really, really hard here in the Twin Cities. They're a great bunch of people. I mean, they've got a couple females in the band, and they just have this vibe about them they're super awesome. They're super cool people. I hope they have a great tour. I'm excited for them. Hopefully, it brings a lot more touring chances for them. So big up to Gabriel and the Apocalypse. I hope they're doing well on their tour. We got some Sublime after that. We've got some CeeLo Green and some Dr. Dre up in this piece. So we're going to get deep in this bitch. Yeah. So let's listen to some tunes. Folks, stick around. We'll be back. But they absolutely are not. No, I'm kidding. I have much love and respect for the women's. They're goods. They're goods to us, and they keep us in line, don't they? No, they keep us into trouble. And well, I'm just going to stop while I'm ahead. Well, thank you for listening to Ritual Madness Podcast, episode 159. We're hanging out here talking about drones and getting into it. There's a lot of stuff that people need to know when they're getting into this hobby. I would say our consensus here is to start small and work yourself up big. If you've got money and you want to get something good right away, just be aware that you're going to crash it, and you're going to possibly have a failure, possibly have, anything can
pull your
change.
Hair out.
Yeah.
If you're not crashing, you're not learning.
Yeah, true. Exactly. True. And, to use common sense and to be safe and make sure that there's no, what they say in the drone community is soft targets. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get anybody hurt. You don't want to hurt anybody or damage anybody's property. Because it's bad for the hobby. It's bad for all of us that are trying to have a fun time with this thing. And, it's so, I mean, it takes you on that roller coaster. It really is when you get into a pair of goggles and you're flying around and you come over to the top of a tree, or you're, looking into the sky and you're doing a flip and, getting into it. It's an amazing feeling. So, if you're getting into it, folks, just be careful, use your common sense, get things together. We were talking about YouTube before we went to the last break. We're talking about, these great pilots that are out here on YouTube and having these channels and showing us all kinds of cool stuff. But if you're getting into it, you don't understand, a lot of times there's two different cameras a lot of times on those birds that they're using, the high performance birds. And they have the FPV camera, which is what you see in your goggles. And that a lot of times when you see DVR playback, you'll see the lines and the fuzz in it, and you're going in and out of range or behind a tree or behind something, depending on your goggles, using diversity and all this other stuff, and you're going behind these big cement walls and all this other stuff, and then you see the crystal clear video on there. And a lot of people may not understand that they're using another, GoPro or the Polaroid Cube or whatever it is,
Mobius
or the
Run
Mobius
Cam.
or Run
Yomi
Cams or-
Me and
Yeah.
There's a bunch.
Yeah, there's a
GoPro
ton.
style
Yeah, there's a
action
ton.
cameras.
And those are the ones that are really taking the footage and having, I've seen some cameras that are just not positioned right. I've seen, people just not having them in the right spots and
tilted right.
Yeah, tilted
Yeah,
right for
bad
sure.
mounts for sure.
So have you guys had any experiences with any of these cameras?
Yeah, definitely. And in some of that DVR footage that you see too, like sometimes what you're seeing in the goggles is actually better than what you're
crisper,
watching. Yeah, it's a little
yeah.
cleaner for sure. So it just looks crappy, but you get used to it as well. It's like that just watching TV when I was growing up. Like I didn't care what, now
Black
it's
and
super
white
clean.
garbage. Yeah.
I'm not that old, man. But
Oh, sorry, that's just me.
yeah, that's just you. It's funny. But yeah, then you use the GoPro. That's what you get your 1080p or your 4K, and you get that super clean footage. And they can slow it down, speed it up, edit it like crazy. 'Cause trust me, they've crashed a bunch too.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, the GoPros are, compared to like a Mobius, they're a little better quality, but
Sure.
they're $100 or maybe a little less nowadays. I haven't looked at the prices, but I have
like
one. And
$60-$70.
okay, so yeah, when I got mine, probably 2 years ago, they were $100, and but it's still for, it's lighter than a GoPro for sure,
Right.
And you might get, you'll still get sweet footage. It's just not going to be that 4K GoPro, quality footage.
Right.
A lot of people can't even play 4K
No, and
anyway, so it really doesn't even
So,
matter.
right.
And
1080p
YouTube-
is totally fine.
Yeah,
If you can get your hands on a Runcam 3, it's $100. And they discontinued them, but somebody might be selling one online somewhere.
Exactly.
That's a 1080p camera. It's a form factor for a quad. Pick it up.
And you got to remember, you're probably going to crash it and break it at some point, whether it's the first crash or the second, or
I know I broke my GoPro, that front lens that's on it.
Yep.
Thankfully that's a replaceable item, but
Right.
I actually smushed the whole thing in, so when you pop open where your SD is kept, it was all crunched inside.
Yep.
They've got an excellent return policy.
Yeah, that's
which that's why I use GoPro.
Yep.
Because you get that instant return policy, and then if you pay the extra money for the care plan, 2 years, it doesn't matter what's wrong with it. You just go bring it in. So give me another one.
they swap
Right.
it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
I'll,
very
I'll
cool.
pay the extra.
Now
for
you
that.
guys, now Kyle, you have a 3D printer, right? And
Correct.
You just brought me a torrent box, one for my torrent.
Yep.
And you've been doing a lot of printing for these GoPros as well,
Yep,
right?
yep.
The
We've
brackets and stuff.
Actually, some some TPU, which is actually flexible material, plastic, and we've been printing some GoPro mounts for those, and they actually take the impact a lot better than a PLA or
Sure.
ABS plastic, which would just crack or break, and then you got to get a new one. So
Well, what I really like about the D quad that we're going to be carrying is that aluminum roll cage that it has. It has cross standoff, so they go from horizontally instead of vertically.
Right.
And they've created a file for a TPU GoPro mount.
Right.
And it's basically like a skin that your GoPro pops into, and then the D quad logo gets imprinted into the design when it's printed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then the way it's mounted is it's strapless. You don't need to use a Velcro strap to hold it down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you put it in between the standoffs go through it, so it becomes part of your frame, which
Oh,
is
wow.
awesome. It's just
Yeah.
a permanent thing, and you don't have to worry about the Velcro snapping or
Wow, that's
anything.
really cool.
Tighten it down.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Now,
So-
is that something that you guys are going to be offering? Is 3D prints,
Yep.
printed parts and
Yep.
stuff? Because I know there's a ton. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
when we got our torrents right away, you had the battery pieces underneath the skid
like
plates
a battery
and stuff.
skid, and
Yeah.
there's all sort.
You'll
sky's
want
the
those
limit
for the
on-
D quad
Yeah,
too.
you can get those for the D quads too, or
Anything
anything
bottom
with
mount.
bottom mount. It's a good idea.
Oh yeah, for sure. Those lipos are
They
just so
come in-
volatile. Yeah.
I've
we-
burned up. I've had a few fires.
Oh yeah.
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 Doesn't take a whole lot, and we get 2 different size ones. We can print in tons of different colors.
Sure.
So,
Right.
Yeah, a lot of
Very
3D printing. Even if there's a file you find
Yeah.
that's something that works for you, that maybe we don't carry, just
send the file
Yep.
over. We can
Send
print
it
it out
over.
and
Sure.
Yeah.
get you taken care of.
Now what? Now you guys are talking about launching like fairly soon, correct? You guys are getting vendors and getting things put
Yep.
together to where you're going to be able to offer different services, and people are going to be able to go to your website and basically build a quad and have it built and tested by you guys before they even get it, so they can bind and fly.
Yep.
Exactly.
You guys build it, they get it, bind and fly, and they're ready to rip.
Yep. If that's the
from
service they want, we'll provide that service. We'll get them everything they need. We'll send them, the binding instructions.
Yep.
We'll
Yep.
have tutorial links, for them.
Right.
And who knows, there might be some freebies along in
Yep.
the package with them too.
Yep.
And we'll
Stickers
have
for sure.
Yeah. We'll have that. We're also going to do hydro dipping.
Right.
Along with the 3D printing, and then
Now describe to people what a hydro dip is. It's
So it's a basically it's a printed paper or material, plastic,
decal kind of,
like
right?
a decal, and then you spray a activator on it, and it basically
Adheres to the-
disintegrates
yeah.
the film, and then you're left with like liquid paint basically,
Sure.
and then you dip your part
But the
or
liquid
whatever.
paint is basically the design that you
Yes.
that's on
So you can
the
get
print.
carbon fiber. Right now, I'm working with some carbon fiber, some stuff that looks like it's see through or it looks like water droplets.
Sure.
So you'd prime, like I just did a battery charger, and I primed the battery charger white,
Right.
and then you dip it with the water droplets,
Sure.
which are black water droplet look, and
Yeah.
it just pops.
And
it
guys,
looks
just
amazing.
just so you know, when you're getting into this stuff, you'll start to see quads that are color coordinated, and people fly
Yep.
certain colors, and they really like that watermelon, or they like the schizo flies those
I had
teal
the Barney
ones.
frame.
Yeah,
So it was all purple. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and that's something that you guys can do as well as a hydro dip
Yep.
to match somebody's color
Exactly.
scheme,
Yep.
and that
remote controls. I mean, really, we can dip anything that
can
can
take
be
apart.
submerged in
Right,
water.
right.
That whether it's a transmitter that needs to be taken apart. I mean, ideally, it's cheaper and more efficient to just send the shell, take it apart yourself, and send it to us. But yes, we can take it apart, do the priming, dip it, clear coat it, reassemble it, test it, send it out.
I've seen some of the cool stuff that you've hydro dipped. You've got a pair of what are those?
Predator,
the fat
Fat
sharks?
Shark
Yep.
Predator V2s.
Those were dope, dude.
Yep,
when you
they're
sent
pretty
them, he
sweet.
did them in a like a I don't know,
Metallic green.
yeah, crazy green, and then did a
It's a sticker bomb.
sticker bomb over the top of it, and it looks super dope too. It pops really good. And then the battery charger, that's something that I mean, dude, you have a cool color scheme that you really like, and that's what you're rocking. I mean, it's like a full personalized deal
Exactly.
for you.
That's
You know
what
what
it's
I'm saying?
about.
Yep.
Personalize all
Yeah,
your
man.
stuff to your personality.
Yeah.
Like pimp it out,
Yeah,
modify
exactly.
it. Everybody loves that.
Fuck yeah, man! If you could do it cool too, and
Yep.
and I'm sure you guys are gonna you're gonna show what patterns and shit that you offer, right?
Yep, we'll have a whole online catalog of what we can do and pictures and stuff like that.
Dude, you know what you guys should do is when you're building the website, how like you go to fucking, a car dealership and you can see, you just slide the color and it changes all the colors and the whole thing. You know what I mean? It's
Well,
like,
that's a
just-
cool
just
idea.
click
Change
that
the-
fucking
all
arrow
the-
and it goes,
yep.
Yeah.
That's cool.
throws
Just
it all
holds
there.
the image
Carbon
of
fiber
dude,
and then the
yeah.
flames, the skulls,
Yeah,
or whatever you
dude,
want to
that would
do.
be
Yep.
super dope.
that is.
man.
Oh, yeah,
That's a good
that's
idea.
I think that customization is key too, especially in a hobby like this, because
Oh, yeah.
everybody will buy a specific kind of frame. If it's a cool frame, people start buying that same
Yep.
frame, or they
Yeah.
get the clone of it or something. But to be able to color scheme it out, get some cool props, get some color
yeah.
scheme. Because when we got the torrents, like as soon as I was crashing into that grass, I was like, "Fuck, man!"
Yep.
It's a white shell. It's got
There it
white
goes.
props on it. I'm like, "Oh god, this is horrible." And then I seen
Yeah.
you get your blue one, and then Brandon got all black. His is all
and
blacked
they give
out. It's like, damn.
in stock they have they try and make it different too by offering yellow, blue,
Sure.
the different color stock, but it's still I
But you guys
right
could go
away and
one
dipped
step.
my shell.
Yeah.
I took my white shell and primed it and dipped that with a sticker bomb, and now my Torrent has a custom shell on it. And
Sure.
My tiny whoop, I did the same thing with the tiny whoop.
Right.
It did a skull shell on that one, and the frame actually on the tiny whoop, I dipped that one too. So I mean,
I seen
you
your
can-
one of the receivers that you did
Yep.
as well.
Yep. So I mean, there's just
A Phantom
endless.
receiver too, wasn't it?
Yep, Phantom. I mean, I've done a DX6i. I'm gonna work on a Taranis next. I mean, there's just the possibilities are endless.
Sure.
Battery chargers. I mean, even the 3D printed stuff can be hydro dipped. So I mean, if somebody wants a custom case or a custom whatever mount, and then they want it carbon fiber or a certain color,
Sure.
we can dip that too.
Well, so here's the question. Now you guys are just about to, you're kind of gearing up and getting things and vendors put together and everything. If somebody wanted to contact you right now, how would they be able to contact you to get any kind of services that you guys offer right now?
We're on Instagram. I think we got a Facebook page. I'm pretty sure there's one. I think I set it up.
You get that?
I've had some
Kyle's in charge
long
of
days
social
and
media.
Yeah.
long days and late nights working my
me
day
too.
job, trying to catch
Right.
up and trying to do this on the side. So
Yeah. We're
but we
both
got
trying to cram
Instagram,
it all in,
QuadstyleRC on Instagram, Facebook. What else do we have? We have an email set up.
Yep. Go ahead and email Josh, Josh .wells, WELLS at QuadstyleRC.com. If you have some products you'd like us to check out, possibly host on the website when we
Yep.
get it launched here, we're more than willing to take a look at it and see what we can do.
Yep. And then the other email we have is QuadstyleRC@gmail.com. And hopefully we'll get, actual emails once we get our website launched that are, Kyle at.
Well, we just got to add
Quadstyle,
yours.
yeah,
That's all.
okay,
I just got to
so we'll
add
just
yours.
add mine, and
Yep.
then we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
So
Awesome, dude. And then can they get a hold of you guys on Facebook, like your personal pages?
Oh
and
yeah,
everything like that, too?
definitely.
Yeah.
Mine's locked up at the moment,
Yeah.
but I'll open it up soon.
Yeah, mine's open, and I'm on Superior Aerial Solutions. You can find me on that Facebook page.
Yep, you can
too,
find
but-
it on. You
but
can
I probably-
find that on my Ritual Madness podcast page as well. There's
Nice.
right on the right side. You can click that icon, and it'll bring you right to get a hold
And
of
that's
you
what I've
too.
been doing my
Great.
repair stuff out of. But once we get geared up and going the other route, I'll probably just kind of switch everything over
Sure.
to Quad Style and just
Yeah.
run it all out of the same thing. And
Right. Hell yeah, for sure, man.
It's going to be badass.
Yeah. Well,
we're
that's really
excited.
cool, man. And you guys have the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like the spirit of making this experience better for other people. You know what I mean? Just by the model of what you guys are, the base where you're at right now, and the ideas that I've heard come out of you guys off the air and in personal conversations. I think that you guys are on to something, and you're gonna push forward. And I think that it's gonna be beneficial for guys that are new and want to get those bind and fly quads that are built
Yep.
and tuned the right way, ready to rip. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah.
That's
I
key.
mean,
So
and we're not trying to turn away, pros or anybody else either.
Nope.
I mean, we're definitely, here to cater to everybody, not
Right.
just the beginners or
Right.
the
Yeah.
newbies. I mean, we'll sell parts or assemble for anybody, whether it's, anybody. I mean,
You want to build it yourself. Just
Yep.
pick out what you
Yeah,
want.
pick out what you want.
Yeah.
We'll send you ESC 1, 10, 5,
Right.
whatever you want, and we'll
Yep.
send it.
If we got it in stock, we'll ship it to you
Yeah.
if you give us the cash.
right, absolutely, man. Well, that's very cool, man. I'm excited. So what are you shooting for to get things going? You got a month or two, or
I'm
Hopefully
thinking
a month maybe.
Hopefully
End
a month.
of July, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm thinking sometime in July. We don't have an exact date as of yet. There's a lot of logistics still
Yeah.
going on, but we're moving forward, and we're letting people know because it's for real.
I have a funny feeling that I'll be posting this stuff all over the place.
I hope so.
Making sure
Hopefully, yep.
everybody knows.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely,
we do.
dude. I'm all about that. Plus, we're gonna be flying together
Oh, yeah,
anyway. So
definitely.
Yeah.
fucking, I'll be pushing it and wanting to.
Burn those packs.
I'll be wanting to build one of them chameleons.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I have two, so you'll be able to try one. if you
I'm
want.
excited,
Yeah.
man. I'm really, really excited. And you guys are talking about possibly doing some build videos as well, and kind of
Definitely,
getting some
definitely.
getting some ideas
Yeah.
out there for people.
And,
Absolutely.
And buying video, just random videos that, maybe there isn't a ton of videos out there on
Right.
certain things or,
Yeah.
whatever, or just more random, videos on newer products or
Yep. Sure.
upcoming products and stuff like that.
Yep.
So,
New releases, absolutely. If we get our hands on some new products that we
Send them
feel
to
are
us.
worth it,
Yeah.
send them over. We'll check them
definitely
out,
test them out for
let
you.
everybody know what we think. But yeah, absolutely, we want to give you as much information as we can to make this process easier for you, because I know when I was going through it, I'm sure when all you guys were going through it, there's just, you know, and I hear all these terms and I see all these videos, it's almost like overload, and it's like you don't even grasp it. And then once you start to do it, you're like, wait a minute, God, I really thought that was something crazy, but it, you know, it starts to flow. So we want to help you get that to flow a little quicker.
Absolutely. Badass. Very cool. Very cool. Like I said, folks, I think we're gonna talk about doing some more podcasts as well. So we're gonna be, you know, incorporating all the stuff that they're doing and you know, as much information as we can possibly do. Get it out on YouTube.
That sounds awesome.
So stay tuned, folks. Make sure that you're paying attention, because I'm sure it's going to go fast. These guys are moving a mile a minute. So yeah, I'm excited. I appreciate you guys taking the time to come in and actually,
thanks for having us on.
You know,
thanks for
doing this shit, because I mean it's something that I really love, man. It's a blast, and meeting new people that are into it as much as I am. It's
we love to meet new people.
Yeah, dude. To push
part of the process of
why
we even want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, very cool, folks. Make sure you check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com. Stay tuned, because we're going to have a lot of stuff with these guys, and a lot more drone talk, a lot more cool videos and whatnot. So it's going to be fun.
Throw in another little side bit quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just about the videos. Yeah. We're also going to do just some other cool stuff too. We'll do some videos like we rip electric longboards.
Yep. Yeah.
We're going to do some reviews on stuff like that. Like anything that we think is awesome, techie.
Sure.
Yeah, we're going to put it out there for you and let you know what we think.
Very cool. Very cool. Absolutely. Well, folks, make sure you check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com. Make sure you connect with all of our links and everything like that. iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Download that app. Listen to My Radio. That's LIST and the number 2, My Radio. Put Ritual Madness Podcast in the search bar. Make sure you click them Amazon links and donation links, and hit those episode tabs. Make sure you see all those episodes. There's a lot of great bands. Primarily, this podcast is a lot of metal, but this drone stuff is something that I really, really dig. I do it a lot. I fly a ton. I like to be a part of it. I like learning new stuff about it. I watch a ton of YouTube videos, and I got a lot of good guys around me that are, you know, going to teach me some cool stuff. So I'm excited. I'm excited to keep this thing going. So hopefully you guys will pay attention and keep things going with us and stick around and all that other good stuff. We're going to head out. This will be the end of episode 159. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys for coming in and being a part of it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We'll definitely be hearing from these guys real soon. And keep checking the website, man. We'll have links to all of this stuff they're talking about and all their websites and everything like that, Facebooks and everything like that. So stick around. Make sure you check back with us, folks. Go ahead.
We'll probably have a soft launch, actually.
Sure.
So we will... Once we get up and running, we might not have all the inventory that we hope to have, but we will have some pre-order options.
Yeah.
So you can click in, you know, there's something you really want to get. We just don't have it yet. We'll have it real soon. Otherwise, we wouldn't have put it up on pre-order.
Sure.
But we are going to do a soft launch, and that's all coming soon.
Absolutely, man. Very, very cool. So thank you very much, folks, for tuning in. We are out of here. Peace out.
Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast.